All right, welcome back to another lesson in SAT prep about grammar and punctuation. So over here, remember that an independent clause can stand on its own. So sometimes you can use a comma and a conjunction to connect independent clauses. So for instance, if I took this out right here and I just read this and like this, we did the best we could, we still lost. That just doesn't flow right. So I'm going to put that semicolon back in and I could say, we did the best we could. That is an independent clause. It can stand on its own. We still lost. That's another independent clause that can stand on its own. And I can separate these with a semicolon just like that. Or I could do something like this. Use a comma conjunction right here in violet to connect these two independent clauses. So over here, this is a list of comma conjunctions that are probably the most popular. They call these fanboys. Okay, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Them are conjunctions you can use. They're pretty popular. So we did the best we could. That is definitely independent. I could put a period there if I want to, but I have two independent clauses within the same sentence. This independent clause is very short, but it's still independent. We still lost. So we did the best we could, independent clause, comma conjunction, yet we still lost, independent clause. So I connected these two independent clauses with a comma conjunction. I could have used a semicolon, but I used a comma conjunction instead. Next one. It was a very nice day outside, independent, comma conjunction, but she still was working on the old computer all day. So she was still working on the old computer all day is also independent, but I also want to remember conciseness. So I'm going to shorten this sentence up if I can to improve it. It was a very nice day outside. That is straight to the point, independent, comma conjunction. But let me look at the second independent clause to see if I can make that more concise or shorter, because the SAT wants the most shortest writing possible. She was still working on the old computer. I can get rid of this adjective. I don't need it. She was still working on the computer all day. I guess that works. Okay, it was a very nice day outside, independent clause, but, comma, conjunction, she was still working on the computer all day. I can make this even shorter. There. Okay, it was a very nice day outside, comma, conjunction, but she was still working on the computer. Okay, next one over here. Remember, there's extra information within commas. This is a typical SAT type scenario. So, Mr. period hot dog, which is a proper noun, comma, extra information. Oh, by the way, it's in Bay City, comma, Michigan, comma, because remember right here, you use a comma to separate a city and a state. Okay, so the extra information is going to be in Bay City, Michigan. That's going to be in commas. However, you're going to have a comma also within the comma, extra information bracket, separating Bay City, Michigan, and Bay City and Michigan rather. So Mr. Hot Dog, comma, in Bay City, Michigan, by the way, comma, is old. And that phrase is independent. Okay, comma conjunction. But it is not as old as American Coney in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, so this second clause right here, it is not as old as American Coney in Detroit, Michigan, could also stand on its own. So I'm going to use a comma and conjunction to connect these both. Okay, let me erase this one. Okay, let me scroll up a little bit. Parallel structure. This is really important also in writing. So it's really just nothing but a pattern. Okay, so what is the pattern that you're going to keep in the writing? So over here, write 12 sentences that use parallel structure, keeping the same pattern basically over and over again. Okay, so over here, write 12 sentences in parallel structure, which equals keeping the same pattern the same way in the sentence. So let's look over here. Number one, the pattern is go to the mall, go to the grocery store, go to the gym. So we need to, pattern one, go to the mall, continuing pattern, go to the grocery store, comma, and go to the gym. Okay, this pattern for number two is going to be using the gerund ing. Okay, you are running, ing, fighting, ing, and yelling, ing. I couldn't say something like you were running around, fighting, and yelling. That wouldn't work. Okay, it has to be the same pattern. You were running, fighting, and yelling. And that's what we call parallelism. It's also what they call a rhetorical device on the SAT essay. Okay, here's another one. The pattern is using numbers first to emphasize. I saw 2 pairs of pants, 1 pair of shoes, and 3 new shirts, and 5 new bills. Okay, so over here, I'm going to look at this sentence. I'm going to say, the SAT is going to give me something similar to this, which you kind of saw in the video, if you watch the video. And there's a grammatical error in here, which I have to be aware of. So I saw 2 pairs of pants. Okay, that's correct, comma. 1 pair of shoes. That's correct. And 3 new shirts and 5 new bills. Oh, okay, I forgot about this. Okay, the old Oxford comma here. I could do something like that maybe, but the SAT likes a traditional comma. I'm going to take out my listed not in there with the word and. The and comes at the end to signify the end, the beginning, the last point of a list. So I saw 2 pairs of pants, 1 pair of shoes, 3 new shirts, and 5 new bills. So the pattern is using these numbers first to describe the situation. Okay. Here's another easy run. I like reading, ing, writing, and drawing. The pattern is using ing. Okay. Like the video kind of said, this pattern is using colors first to describe things. I have a black coat, blue jeans, and a pink top. Okay, I could have said something like this. This would be wrong. I have a black coat and, oh, how about this? Jeans that are blue and a pink top. This is incorrect because the pattern is broken. Black coat, pink top, and jeans that are blue. No, this is not correct. So this is not parallelism. So correct that to blue jeans. Then the pattern becomes consistent. Okay, then if we scroll down a little bit, I want more practice on this right here. So here's a general rule, okay? So if you have an object that is singular, make sure that the verb is in agreement, because then the verb must be plural, and vice versa. Okay, so over here. So omit the S in a verb to make it plural. So they include both math and reading on the SAT. Okay, if I would have did something like this, they includes both math and reading on the SAT, then I'm going to be, that's going to be incorrect because my verb is plural. I don't want that. So sailors, which is plural, run. The verb, I'm going to omit the S in the verb, run a tight ship. So sailors is kind of considered a collective noun, and so it's considered to be sailors run a tight ship. It's not sailors runs a tight ship, okay? Voting requirements include, okay, so the voting requirements, which is basically plural, include, so this verb is singular because I omitted the S. I didn't say voting requirements, which is plural, includes, it's include. So basketball's plural, roll on the floor once they are dropped. Okay, Kate, who is just one person, she's going to be singular. Now I have to do the opposite because Kate is singular. I have to make my verb plural. So Kate, who is singular, likes carrots. So if I did something like this, if I took the S off the L, I would have Kate is singular. The verb like is singular. That can't happen. It's got to be a mixture between plural and singular objects. So Kate is my object here. She's singular. Like, I'm going to change to S. Now I have a singular object and a plural verb, and that works. Carrots. Kate likes carrots. Okay, here, runners is, in this case, always going to be, it's going to be plural. So runners always stretch before and after races, which is really important to do. Okay, so runners is plural. That means my verb has to be singular. So runners always stretch, and it is singular. If I were to do this, runners always stretches before, that'd be incorrect because now I have a plural object and a plural verb. I can't do that. So I'm going to have a plural object and a single verb. Okay. If I were to do something like this, a runner, now in this case, my noun is object is now singular, so that means I have to make this verb plural. A runner always stretch. No, a runner always stretches before and after races. I could do it like that also. So just write about 5 more of these and, well, 7 more to get good old-fashioned writing and SAT practice. Make sure you watch the video. Make sure that you look at the assignment for attendance. And remember, if you look at the assignments, if you check into your classes 80% of the time, you'll automatically pass your classes for the semester during this pandemic.